Hello, everybody, and welcome into a very special presentation on HSD TV7. I'm Kasey Kreider, and in a second, I'll be joined by two of my colleagues, Ben Marinas and Colson Hunt. On March 12th, the spring sports seasons were suspended as a result of the coronavirus pandemic. On April 9th, the seasons were eventually scrapped for good, robbing hundreds of Hempfield athletes the opportunity to play the spring sport that they loved. Many of these players were seniors, meaning that what was supposed to be their last hurrah, their final championship run, their senior night, had all fallen by the wayside. Throughout the course of this show, we'll be spotlighting the athletes, coaches, and the stories that were set to shape the 2020 spring sports season for Hempfield. This is HSD TV7 Sports Senior Night. Now, I am not a varsity athlete by any stretch, but my two co-hosts are Ben, Colson. I'll bring you guys in now. And Ben, I'll start with you. You were a member of Hempfield's track and field team, which you'll be spotlighting later on in this show. What was your reaction to all of this unfolding? And as you've gotten the opportunity to interview some members of the Hempfield athletic community, what's impressed you the most about what you've seen from them?
Well, my reaction is the same as the reaction I'm hearing from pretty much everybody else. It was like we're a tire and just somebody poked a hole. That tire just deflating slowly, just sucks the energy out of you. But the thing I'm most impressed with kind of goes off of that. It's the resolve that Hempfield athletes have shown in staying active, staying on top of their game, even though they won't have a senior season. But all athletes coming together as a community to make each other better in these tough times.
Yeah, I can agree with that, Ben, 100%. Colson, I can say with certainty that the two of us were very heartbroken for you when all of this started taking place. It was kind of our dream at HSD TV7 for our final sportscast of the season to be Ben and I calling you and the boys volleyball team on as you guys hopefully would go on to win a state championship. And you guys would have given them a run for their money this year, no doubt. How have you handled all of this unfolding, and what's impressed you the most about what you've seen from the Hempfield community as you've gone and done your interviews for boys lacrosse and boys volleyball?
Well, personally, how I handled it at first was probably not the best way to handle it by staying in my room and sleeping as much as possible. But, what we ended up doing is we stayed together. We had group chats. We've had Zoom meetings. And we've done stuff together from a social distance. And it's really helped. We've talked it out. We're past the misery of it and now on to like we knew what we could do, and we're proud of what we could have done. What I'm most impressed with in doing the interviews I've seen is really the sense, kind of like Ben said, the sense of community that we're seeing from the Hempfield athletes, in the sense that we're all in understanding that this is bigger than us, and there's nothing we can do except appreciate what we've already gotten, and just take baby steps from there and see where this all turns out.
Yeah, I can definitely agree with that as well, Colson. It's been impressive to see the resolve that everybody's shown. Well, look, we know this show won't replace senior night for all of you. It might not even come close. But allow us to give some recognition to those of you who didn't get a proper farewell. Ben, Colson, and I have all been working to spotlight these spring sports. So without any further ado, we'll start with Ben here, spotlighting track and field and baseball.
3 athletes. 3 sports. 3 unique stories of how these young men and women have persevered through adversity to get to their senior seasons. But in a cruel twist, these 3 extraordinary young athletes will not compete their senior year. This is their senior night. This is Matthew Drenchko. When the season was canceled, it was yet another bump in Matthew's road.
I was pretty disappointed because this would have been my first full year back with my shoulder surgery and stuff. So I was kind of disappointed that it all got canceled.
His story starts halfway through his freshman season when an excellent introductory campaign was cut short by injury.
Well, I got the first surgery because they thought part of my labrum and rotator cuff was starting to fray. So they went in, shaved it out, and about like a year after that, I had to get another surgery because my shoulder socket didn't fit right. So they had to tighten that all up. And that was about a year and a half of rehab.
Despite his difficult circumstances, Matthew still looks back fondly on his time with Hempfield baseball.
It was a good time, all in all. I had a good time with everybody. Thank you to the coaches, and I'm going to miss you all to the teammates.
Our next athlete is boys track and field star Cole Lehman.
My initial reaction was definitely like sadness, especially since it's my senior season. Because I had a lot of expectations going into this season, especially since I've been training for 3 years, pretty much for this season, because the senior season is always your fastest season, especially in track. So I was really disappointed, and yeah, definitely sad.
Cole's journey was unique, as his road to the track team did not start in the walls of Hempfield.
When I was homeschooled, I didn't really have a huge community of people my age. I had some from my co-ops, but it wasn't like anything like obviously regular high school. And then when I joined the track and cross country teams, it was like a whole new community that I was like immediately brought into. And it was like one of the best things that's actually, I could say it's definitely the best thing that happened to me in high school, was joining cross country and track. Everyone that I was running with made it so much more fun and so much more enjoyable. And then, with the season being canceled, I wasn't just losing my season, but also losing all the time with the friends that I made there and all that time that I'd be spending with them.
But the most impressive part of Cole's story is how his positivity still radiates despite losing his senior season.
As long as you keep working hard and even when it doesn't seem like things are going very well, like right now I'm still running and training mostly. I mean, now it's for college, but even during the season and over the summers, even when times seem tough and things aren't going as planned, just keep training, and hard work is always going to pay off in the end. And I still had a good junior season. So, I mean, it wasn't amazing, wasn't the best, but, it was still a good junior season. I didn't know it was my last, but it was. So, yeah, I mean, I would just say keep working hard, keep pushing, because it'll pay off in the end.
Our third and final athlete is girls track and field standout Megan Grube.
At first, when they first came to us at practice and said that school was going to be out for 2 weeks and we wouldn't have practice for those 2 weeks, I honestly was just like, don't worry, guys, like, don't get upset, like, keep training, like, we're going to come back. And I was so set on the fact that it wasn't real when they actually said it was canceled. I didn't know how to react. I'm still training now with hopes that I can get into meets during the summer because it really just still hasn't sunk in.
Megan has always been a stud athlete, but her dominance on the track did not truly begin until her junior year.
Hempfield track, I definitely had a different experience than a lot of people. I started out freshman year, but then had to quit right away because I had a stress fracture in my back from doing 2 sports at once. And my second year in high school, as a sophomore, I decided to go play soccer for a club team, and I couldn't do track anymore. And I think that's why I love track so much now, because I walked away from it and realized how much I love the sport and how much I love the people in the sport. So it's definitely really special to me, and I've really met some of my best friends in the sport and learned a lot from the coaches.
Megan was part of the 4x100 meter relay team, a team that had their eyes set on Black Knight immortality.
Our 4x1, we were less than 0.1 of a second off of the school record. I want to say it was like 0.06 of a second that we just missed it by. And last year we were like, oh man, like we really wish we would have gotten that. But obviously we were all like, okay, we have next year. We're all juniors, so our whole relay team is coming back. We definitely will break the school record next year. We'll definitely place top 3 in leagues, place at districts, possibly like even place at states. Like we had a lot of high hopes, and I think that record really meant a lot to us. And now that's just completely taken away from us when we were so close.
Megan's brief but memorable stint with spring track and field came to an unfortunately early end. But, like Matthew and Cole before her, she maintains her gratitude and positivity through these tough times.
Definitely so thankful for the 1 full year that I had with this team and the 4 years of winter track that I've had. Track is definitely a difficult sport, especially if you're a runner, because a lot of people don't like running, but we still do it. But having the people on that team running with me every day and the encouragement from the coaches is definitely amazing, and I love that team.
The truly amazing thing about this pandemic is how the spirit of young men and women perseveres through heartbreak. Though they will not get their senior seasons, Matthew, Cole, and Megan will always have the memories they made as Hempfield Black Knights. We now go to Colson Hunt, who will be spotlighting the boys' volleyball and lacrosse teams.
In the past 4 years that Hempfield seniors have seen, the boys' volleyball team has won 2 league titles, a district championship, and brought home the silver trophy in their 12th appearance in a state final. And this year, the Hempfield boys volleyball team was looking to make history again and add to Hempfield's trophy case.
Well, I'll stick my neck out and say we'd be playing on the last day, which is a state championship team. This team is senior laden, and you've sort of been building up for this for the last 3 years. You don't want to count this as the 4th year, but what we've been doing is just open gym, club ball. And we play a fair amount during the club season, and the club season is 3 months prior to the start of the high school season.
2 to 3 times a week we're practicing. We have tournaments basically every weekend, so we're playing a bunch of teams, getting a lot of reps in. We spend time together outside of the practices and tournaments, and we're always staying connected and stuff. And we're playing outdoors all the time.
In the summertime we play outdoor volleyball, in the grass and in the sand at Aher Park, and we go into tournaments and stuff, it's really good. It's great exercise. It's fun being outside playing the sport, and it gets you better too. And we just enjoy preparing for the season also because we just want to be successful, and those are the things we got to do. It's a nonstop grind year round.
On March 13th, COVID-19 shut down schools for what would later turn out to be the rest of the year. Considering this would end all spring sports, I asked Coach Vogel and the players what their next steps were.
There's not really that much you can do. I mean, you just try to keep everybody positive. You can go what if, you can play the what if game. And I guess that's what you do. What could we have done? When something is out of your control, there's nothing you can do. But if you look at the historical information, we usually cycle about every 2 years. And so we won states in 2016. We were in the state final in 2018. And so here we are 2 more years later. I expected to be in the state final. I thought we had the makings of a team to do that. Now, not every team can do that, but we had the talent. We had the talent and we had the drive this year, and everybody was working hard.
And as long as we just would have, kept progressing as the team that we thought we could be. And that's what disappoints me most, is that not only it's our final year, but also one of the best years that we could have had as a team. And it's just, especially after last year, we had a good season last year, winning a championship in the leagues, but we knew that this year would be something special. And now that we can't even see what it finishes out to be like, it hurts a lot, but it's just out of our control.
For one player, the pain of helplessness was magnified due to circumstances beyond the coronavirus.
Of course, this year, club season, fractured my back, second tournament. I've been sitting out this whole time. I was just the only thing keeping me going was hey, we got the season coming up. I'll be healthy for the season, be able to take us deep. And then, as it unfolded, my personal goal is I wanted to try to be MVP of the league because of not making either team last year. That was my goal. So I wanted to be a leader for our team and help us actually succeed. And I want to be if whenever we're in, in trouble, like we're down some points, we lost momentum, I want to be the guy that we could go to, and I'll put that away. It definitely made me learn I can't take things for granted. I know I'm definitely going to appreciate things a lot more. Like whenever I do get a chance to play with you guys again, I'm going to be like, yeah, this isn't going to last forever. I got to enjoy it.
To lighten the mood on what were becoming rather saddening interviews, I invited Coach Vogel and the players to share what they loved most about volleyball.
My favorite thing is probably Z's after each game. That's our spot, man.
I would say probably the coaching staff. We have a pretty unorthodox coaching staff and a pretty unorthodox style of coaching. They're pretty rough. They're not afraid to tell you how they feel. You get put down a lot, but that's okay because it teaches you how to grow up and be a man. And at our banquet at the end of the year, Coach Vogel, our head coach, likes to say that one of his favorite things is to turn like these freshman kids into men. And that honestly, you can see that happen because you have to mature quickly and you have to adjust quickly to those feelings. You're going to get hurt, but you got to keep your head up. You got to keep working.
I enjoy all of it. Probably the best part is practice. I enjoyed practice around you guys. It's less formal, more informal. We get a lot done. We can joke around, and I watch you guys getting better.
With a strong group of underclassmen, it is important to keep them motivated for next season.
When I talk to them, it's going to be, hey, let's just make up for last year. I mean, that's going to be the incentive. You have an option where you're a junior, so you're going to be back here next year. Let's win it for the seniors that couldn't do anything.
Even though our favorite thing, playing together in the season, is being taken away from us, we're still, taking all that energy and those feelings from that experience and that all the fun we had last year. We're going to put that in towards what we do this summer, and hopefully we can help develop those kids that like in the grades below us, so that way they can face and like have success, in the future too, whenever we're not there next year.
You can play, you can be as good as however hard you work for it. If you want to be that top player, you got to work for it, and you got to just bust your butt. You'll get there if you believe in yourself.
Coach Vogel, a 30-year veteran coach, gives his final word on how to view the pandemic in a positive light.
You just be thankful for what you have. I mean, on the individual person, if he gets injured, but here the whole team is injured. So you have to be thankful for what you have. And that is, hey, you have your family, you have your friends, and you have your health. I mean, really, why we're doing this is shutting everything down is to hopefully allow a few more people to survive. And so that's what you have to take from it. It has to be where you're giving up something so somebody else can survive.
The boys volleyball coaches and players have come to terms with what is quite literally a worst-case scenario. Now the focus is on the future, where a strong foundation is sure to bring Hempfield boys volleyball success in years to come. The Hempfield boys lacrosse team has been improving year after year for the past 4 seasons. Last year, they won the league championship for the first time in 6 years and took a trip to the state playoffs for the first time in 10 years. Looking to build upon last season, the team this year was gearing up for another successful run.
Back in September, we started with our fall ball program. We started really hitting the weights. We brought somebody in this year to really just work on our strength and conditioning. And we were doing that 3 times a week. And then as we got into the winter months, we were also going over to Red Rose, which is an indoor facility. The boys took it upon themselves that they wanted to do more. So we started getting together on Saturday mornings.
We had just started actual practices on the field, like it was finally our preseason. We got through the tryout week. And then we had our first week of practice. We had scrimmages at the quad against like 3 other teams. And then we were about to have a scrimmage out in Downingtown.
Honestly, I think we would have made it pretty far. We had everything. I mean, we had all the weight training. We were all in the best shape we could for the start of the season. We put in a new offense this year, so we were kind of getting used to that. But I think we were finally starting to pick things up, and that's kind of when all this stuff hit and we had to settle down a little bit more.
Honestly, our goal every year since I've been there is to win the league championship, try to win districts, and then qualify for states. And that goal would not have changed with this group. I honestly think this group was probably in a really good position to accomplish all three of those goals.
Hempfield Lacrosse isn't just about winning championships. I asked the players and Coach McAlpine what they love about lacrosse.
Honestly, it's just being with the guys, like sometimes practices suck. You just do the exact same thing over and over again, but just hang out with the guys, on your downtime, you just get into talk. Sometimes some practices we don't even talk about lacrosse when we're off the field, we just chatting up about life.
So we do have the haircuts, which is we always did some kind of weird thing that kind of brought us all together, and it made us recognizable throughout the school. So kids walking down the hallway, you look at them, they're on the lacrosse team, and then makes you guys a little bit closer.
The biggest thing is just being with the guys. I mean, I love that. I love being with the guys. I love the interaction, the day-to-day, just being with them, the highs and lows, and just hopefully being a part of their life in a way that 10 years from now, they see me in the grocery store, they come running up to me, and they're saying, "Hey, Coach, how you doing?" And building those bonds and those relationships.
Hempfield's young core of future stars still have to continue the program's success in the coming seasons. What are the messages from the senior leaders and the head coach?
From this whole experience, just play it every day like it's your last. I mean, my freshman year, Colby Smith tore his ACL on one of the scrimmages in the first scrimmage of the year, and it ended his senior year. So, I mean, you never know when something like that's going to happen, and something like this that we can't avoid, it's really tough. But, I mean, just play every day like it's going to be your last, and if you do that, you're going to see great things.
Just don't hold back. Have no regrets. Enjoy every moment you have with your team and playing the sport that you get to play now, because who knows if you're going to be able to play it again.
One of the things that I've told the boys throughout this whole time is that, as a person, as a young adult, you're judged on how you deal with adverse situations. So when things are good, everybody can kind of just go along and ride the wave. When things are bad, that's when you got to really look at yourself as a person and how you're going to persevere through those situations.
Finally, Coach McAlpine offered his final thoughts on the circumstances that the lacrosse team found themselves in this year.
Enjoy the small moments. Enjoy every part of it. A lot of guys don't like to practice, and, I get that. Things are tough, but I think now that even those practices that were a little tougher, I think they would do anything to be out there doing that right now. So I think that's the biggest thing I would take from this. And also, that this can't define you as a person. This is a small bump in the road of life. And I really think that the guys that were on my team are going to, persevere and come out stronger for this.
In the coming seasons, Hempfield Lacrosse will utilize their underclassmen from this year, find their new leaders, and continue their goals to bring success to the program.
Thank you, Colson. We now move to the final spring sports section of our program, and we'll be spotlighting the girls lacrosse team, the boys tennis team, and the softball team. The girls lacrosse team was trying to get back to the LL League final after falling short in the championship game a season ago. The boys tennis team was shooting for the stars, playing with a senior class made up entirely of first-year players. And the softball team had a group that seemed primed to reach heights that Hempfield softball hadn't reached in years. But unfortunately, none of that got the opportunity to unfold. Here are their stories. This is what the 2020 girls lacrosse season was supposed to look like for Hempfield. A lot of fun, a lot of leadership, and a whole lot of goals. But ultimately, that never came to fruition after the coronavirus pandemic broke out, suspending the season on March 12th before forcing its cancellation on April 9th. For seniors Lindsay Dakota and Lizzie Yurchek, this was not the way they had anticipated nor wanted their seasons to end.
I heard about it in my Global America class a lot over in China, and I didn't know it would come over here so quickly when I first heard about it.
Since school, we had the 2 weeks off in school. It was kind of expected, but still getting the news, it's still shocking, and it's obviously very upsetting.
Both players had been strongly anticipating the season. But for Dakota, her participation on Hempfield's highly successful girls basketball team came with an unintended consequence.
It was just kind of disappointing because I only got 1 week of playing lacrosse this year because I couldn't with basketball going that long, and it was just disappointed because I was ready to get started, and I saw all these college games online, and I was watching them, and I was just excited to start playing lacrosse again and then get my senior season going.
For Yurchek, a member of Hempfield's state semifinalist girls soccer team in the fall, it was somewhat of an opposite effect.
I didn't play a winter sport this year, so I had, since fall, when soccer ended, I was waiting all this time for lacrosse. So the anticipation and the excitement to finally get out and play again was building up and building up. So then to get the news that that's not going to happen, it was pretty heartbreaking.
But perhaps nobody was looking forward to the season as much as new first-year head coach Claudia Ovchinnikov. As a former NCAA Division I Player of the Year, she had a wealth of experience to bring to the team, but when getting to know the four seniors, Dakota, Yurchek, Cassidy Rourke, and Kaya Pfeiffer, one thing in particular stood out the most.
The respect that the other players have for them, I think they definitely look up to them. Again, I only got to work with Lindsay for a week, unfortunately, but Lindsay 2 weeks. But the respect that the other players, their teammates have for them, I think it's really nice to see.
With that respect in mind, the seniors have a few bits of advice they want to make sure the underclassmen remember.
Show up ready to play and don't take it for granted at all, because obviously I feel I took this season for granted and then it just slipped away.
Celebrate the little things that happen, even last year for basketball, we didn't do that well, but even if we got a win, we should have celebrated that, and we did. And just the little things with teammates that celebrate them and their accomplishments.
And as far as what they'll remember?
Whenever something good happened, everyone got so excited for each other, and if Lindsay would score, everyone would jump up and down and scream. I think that I'll miss that probably the most.
Yeah.
When I'd score something and then we'd run up and hug each other. I don't know. It's the little things.
Maybe it's only fitting that for a senior class that did so many big things for Hempfield girls lacrosse, that it's the little things that they'll cherish the most. When it comes to Hempfield's boys tennis team and their senior class, there's one glaringly unique thing about it. All three of the seniors, Connor Axe, Dylan Mellinger, and Reagan Ansel, had never played tennis before the season began. For Coach Bell, this understandably led to some initial concerns.
One of the things that I was a little bit concerned about going into the season was that we didn't have a lot of upperclassmen, and so I was concerned about leadership because we always have two captains, and only having one junior and, until we knew they were coming in, we didn't think we were going to have any seniors. So I was a little concerned about that.
The first match I played, or I guess it wasn't a match, it was a scrimmage, but I didn't know the rules still. I was asking the kid I was playing against the rules while I was playing against him.
However, in the short season that it turned out to be, it didn't take long for the three seniors to earn Coach Bell's trust.
You could really tell with Demel and Connor that they have played sports before. They knew how to be good teammates. Reagan, same thing. He stepped in and was very positive with everyone else, worked hard in practice. So, really leading by example. So I think that was one of the biggest things that kind of surprised me, but was a really, really pleasant surprise.
Even though the team was relatively inexperienced, that didn't keep them from setting lofty goals.
I expect us to win. almost every match. Unfortunately, the first match didn't go the way we wanted it to, but, we were just warming up. But I know we were expecting to win states. I was expecting to anyway.
However, it was also apparent that with a new group, it was going to be a largely fun season for Hempfield boys tennis.
It was just everybody was having a good time. Everybody was there to learn and get better and win matches. And, it's just going to, I felt like it was going to be a really fun, successful season.
But the coronavirus pandemic made what was expected to be a 2-month season into a 2-week season.
Even in the 2 weeks, we saw a lot of improvement with a lot of the players. So a lot of them had a lot of potential to really, really grow throughout the season. And then, it got cut short, and our seniors didn't really get a chance to experience being on the team too much. They were in for 2 weeks and then didn't really get a full season in.
In the case of Mellinger and Axe, they were members of Hempfield's boys basketball team in the winter. So although their tennis experience was limited, they still have a lot of advice for the underclassmen that apply to both sports.
Never take anything for granted and have fun. High school is one of the best 4 years of your life. So go out, have fun, make new friends, get connections, hang out with friends, play a sport, play a new sport like me and Connor did, and have fun with it.
In sports especially, you got to work hard. You only got 4 years. It feels super fast, and don't leave anything out there. Don't have any regrets after that.
For Mellinger, his most unforgettable sports moment was one that took place this past winter.
Mellinger for 3. That's it! Dylan Mellinger! This is great! You hear that, folks? Let's go!
No, not that one.
This year we beat Manheim Township at Manheim Township, and that was by far the best moment of high school. Definitely during senior year. The bus afterwards, everyone was all in together. No matter who played or who didn't play, everyone had fun that night.
For Axe, one of his more humorous memories relates to someone who was very familiar with this communications program.
Okay, so Austin Groft?
Yes, very well.
Freshman year, I played on the JV team, and it was at McCaskey. I don't think I'll ever forget this. I hope Austin watches this. You got to tell him to watch this.
He will definitely watch this.
So Austin walks out on the floor. He started, and right when he takes off his shooting shirt to go in, and at McCaskey it was weird because for JV they would do handshake lines, which they don't do for JV teams anywhere else. So they did the handshakes and whatever. Austin takes his shooting shirt off. His jersey's on backwards. I'll never forget that. And he had to play for a little bit until the first time out with that.
Axe and Mellinger both represent a fun-loving group of fun-loving seniors who prove that it's never too late to try something new in high school. Hempfield's softball team was in position to have one of the best seasons in recent memory, thanks in large part to a half-dozen seniors, 3 of which had started since they were freshmen. With all of that experience in their back pockets, Hempfield was poised to contend for some championships this year. Unfortunately, no high school team could contend with the coronavirus. Senior captain Anastasia Berardi originally tried to keep things optimistic.
I was trying to be positive to everyone, and I was like, don't worry guys, I'll see you again, we're just going to practice on our own, and we just won't tell the school about it, and we'll be ready to play come April. And then when they canceled it, I know me and a lot of the other seniors were extremely heartbroken. Me, Say, and Sky were all 20 some hits away from 100, and it was going to be a big year for us, so it was definitely really heartbreaking.
When the season was officially called off due to the virus, the team's other captain, senior Asacia Rail, put her response a little more bluntly.
When I found out it wasn't very pretty, I was very upset.
It had been 31 years since Hempfield's only District 3 championship in softball, but head coach Schreiner had every reason to believe that his team would at least be gunning for it and in the hunt come postseason time.
I think we had, all the people in the right places to make a good run at, districts and, maybe qualify for states for the first time in a long time. And, these 2 girls were the captains of the team, and they had everybody heading in the right direction. And We were expecting big things, and I think we would have.
As far as what stood out and made Coach Schreiner as confident in this squad as he was, well, the answer was pretty simple.
I just have to say talent. I mean, Berardi and Say and Schuyler started as freshmen, and they were three of my better players, even as freshmen. So, I'm coming up through and, guiding the team, and, they all played crucial spots. They could all hit the ball. They could all field their position really well. I mean, I was very fortunate to be able to, coach them.
That confidence wasn't just felt by the coach. It radiated off to his other players as well.
Everyone had like a good attitude about it. Like our team was very close this year. Like there was no problems. Everyone was like very sisterly. We all grew up like playing in the same rec ball teams.
We've been playing with each other since we were like 8 years old. And me, Say, and Sky have been the three starting since freshman year. And like we're gonna do big things this year. And I'm not trying to sound like selfish, but like I was really looking forward to a senior night. Like, I've been waiting for that since I was a freshman.
And as a starter on the team since freshman year, Berardi got to witness senior nights for the classes of 2017, 18, and 19, waiting, along with the other 5 seniors, for what was supposed to be their turn. But when it comes to being a leader on the team, Berardi reiterates that age or grade level is simply just a number.
I think throughout my Hempfield career, I have shown the underclassmen, even when I was just a sophomore, that it doesn't matter how old you are to step up to the plate and to show that you can be a leader, even if you're a freshman, even if you're a sophomore.
But ultimately, no matter the grade level, the softball team is one big family.
I just hope they play with all their heart, actually ask for help if they need it, because even the girls on the softball team, they would try and help me and everything.
One softball memory that will stick out in Berardi's mind was a game from her junior year.
It's like a little game, like it wasn't leagues or anything, but we were losing to Penn Manor 14-7.
Oh, yeah.
And last year, and it was the bottom of the 7th inning, and we came back and won, and people stepped up to the plate, and everybody did their job, everybody did their role in the lineup. Like, it was a crazy game.
A comeback for the ages, and maybe a softball team for the ages was coming Hempfield's way, if only they could have gotten on the field to prove it. So now we're going to shift gears to the final portion of our show. We've spent time looking at all the spring sports and what they were supposed to be this season. But to the fall and winter sports, we didn't forget about you guys either. Ben, I'll go to you first. You and I, we did a lot of games together. We did the very first 2 broadcasts on HSD TV7 last year, the 2 boys volleyball games, the senior night, the LL League games. We did a girls basketball district playoff game. We did a girls soccer district playoff game. We had a lot of fun and a lot of great moments, among others. What would you say were some of your favorite memories of this fall and spring sports season of the games that we got to do together?
Well, I'm always going to remember that first volleyball game we did. I was scared to death, didn't know what the heck was going on. And you can hear it if you listen back. I'm very quiet, very shy. But there was a certain exchange you and me had late in that game where you said something along the lines of, there's a little too much mustard on that one, proving once again, mustard's only good on hot dogs. And my reply of, I'm more of a ketchup man myself. And that little exchange there, it's so stupid, but I'm always going to remember that as like, that's the moment where it just clicked and this was all comfortable. I'm always going to remember the freshman football game I got to do with you, Kasey. I've always wanted to do a football game. Obviously, didn't have a chance to do varsity games this year, but the reception we got from that, the amount of fun we had doing that, that was just a great experience. And then one of my last broadcasts that I ever got to do at Elizabethtown for basketball, one of the few times I was the play-by-play guy, Dylan Mellinger with his Brian Scalabrine moment at the end of that game. It's just incredible.
Oh, that was wonderful. Frank and I, we were all losing it to that one. That was so much fun. All righty, Colson, we We had a lot of great games throughout the course of this season. We did the first football game, but we also did the LS football game. That was intense. We had a buzzer beater in there, the Conestoga Valley game. We did both the Manheim Township girls basketball games. We had a lot of pretty intense moments throughout the course of the season. What are some of your favorite memories? What are the things you're going to remember as we go and get ready to show what we've put together here?
Well, it's funny. I think you've mentioned all of the games I was going to go to, but I'll start off with girls basketball, playing at Township, and there's that spot where it looks like it's going downhill for Hempfield, and then all of a sudden they string together just a couple buckets at the perfect time and end up claiming a section title for the first time in however many years it was. So that was a big moment for Hempfield athletics in general and the girls basketball team. And it was loud in that gym, but it was louder because of Kasey. And that's just, I always love the enthusiasm. And to piggyback off of that, at Conestoga Valley, the boys basketball team, when there's a putback at the very end, and I mean, the place just exploded, and I can't even hear because Kasey's just screaming right next to me. And I was just like, it was absolutely a blast to have that memory. But I still stand by my favorite broadcasting memory was that LS football game. It was just back and forth, and there were explosive plays left and right. And just out of pure coincidence, I pulled out my phone to take a video, and I put it on Kasey because he's been, pretty loud and enthusiastic the whole game. And I start filming, and that happens to be the snap that really is the turning point for Hempfield. And Gordy Hoover gets a strip sack, and I forget who even recovered.
I think it was Devin Shorter. Devin Shorter got the strip sack.
Oh, and did Gordy recover the fumble then?
Devin might have recovered it too, but either way.
Okay. Anyway, there was a strip sack recovered by Hempfield, and it's on like the 25, 30-yard line. And I got it on video, and Kasey's reaction is priceless, and I'm the only one that has that video and like that background footage of what he actually is like. And then, Hempfield kind of started pulling away and getting a little bit of cushion because of that play. So I have that memory now.
Every time I see that video, I laugh. That was hilarious. Oh man, for me, I mean, I've been fortunate to do a lot of games, and there were a lot of great games this season. I mean, you go back to the very first two games we did last year, the boys volleyball games. That LL League final against Warwick that Ben and I did, that was insane. That was crazy. Went to 4 sets, and Hempfield brought it home. Little did we know a few months later that we'd have a 5-set match of volleyball for the girls volleyball team in district finals. Central New York, they came back from down 2-1. That was just an electric atmosphere in there. Colson, as you said, the football games we did, that LS game, that was just insanity at the end because Hempfield had a 13-point lead entering the fourth quarter. LS came all the way back to tie it. They had a blocked point after, and then that kick return by Jaden Jimenez. That might have been the most electric moment of the season right there. And just, going through all that, getting to experience. We also did the girls' soccer games when they won the district semifinal against Wilson in overtime. We did their first state playoff game. And then in the winter, I mean, with doing both boys and girls basketball, it was a very pleasant surprise to see how good the girls basketball team wound up being. There were all these crucial games they had to win to keep themselves in the hunt. A great game against Cedar Crest. The 2 games against Township, as you mentioned, that second one was bonkers. I mean, that was an outstanding game. For the boys team, that, as you said, that buzzer beater against Conestoga Valley was incredible too. And then just some of the last games we did, the girls basketball district playoff games, it was a bit of a struggle for times at Hempfield. But Ben, I remember you and I did that Wilson game, the Wilson girls basketball playoff game, and I will never forget just the pure joy in both of our voices when Lindsay Dakota hit that go-ahead basket with like under 30 seconds left. We just lost it, and that was outstanding. And Hempfield went on to win that game, and that was just a great moment and a great memory. So, I feel like we're really lucky that we were there for a lot of great Hempfield moments this season, and we did something that, you think about it, there aren't, moments. There aren't, like, how do I want to describe this? It's not been documented on camera before. There's been a lot of great moments in Hempfield sports history, but not ones that have been documented and put on camera and put out for the world to see like these. So to be able to relive some of those moments and go back and watch some of those games, it's just been outstanding. But anyway, with that in mind, we've been very fortunate. We've been very lucky throughout the course of this season. And so to wrap up our show, we've prepared a highlight reel of the best moments, as well as some of our personal favorites from the first 2 boys volleyball games that we did last season, as well as the fall and winter sports from this season's. For my colleagues and my friends, Ben Marinas and Colson Hunt, I'm Kasey Kreider. You've been watching HSD TV7 Sports Senior Night, and for the final time this school year, we say so long. Sit back, relax, and enjoy as we take you through the best moments of the past 12 months on HSD TV7 Sports.
Welcome in to the coverage of boys volleyball here, Hempfield boys volleyball on HSD TV7. Chen with the serve, and hitting it over again is Eldon Lupik. I tell you, we've learned in this game, mustard's only good on hot dogs. Don't want to have too much of it.
More of a ketchup man myself, but that's besides the point.
And this there you go. It's over. Hi friends, welcome in to the Manheim Township High School for the Lancaster Lebanon League Championship between the Hempfield Black Knights and the Warwick Warriors. Miller. The longer goes right into the face of Traeger, and Hempfield pays off. Little face block by Alex Traeger.
Traeger sacrificing his body for the point. I'm getting Scott Sterling flashbacks just watching that.
Ross. There's Hanselman, Hunt. For the kill is Ben Crabtree, the server. And it goes in. Nice ace. And he come in clutch here. Right
what a rejection by Della Torre.
Rejection. Unbelievable. Hanselman for the win. Gets it. Hunt setting up De La Torre. The kill! And Hempfield are the ML League champions for the 2018-2019 school year. The Hempfield High School Black Knights football on HSD TV7 is underway. And at this point, it's pretty much just about over.
Oh, we got a big.
He's going to end it with a bang. Luke Miller puts the icing on a perfect night for Hempfield. Defense showing blitz. Will they bring it? Yes, they will. Hess gonna try and take it. Get a block from Miller. Hurdles a man. Hess spinning. First down, Hempfield. What a play, Tanner Hess. Needs to get another here. Low snap. Peters pump fakes. Fires.
He's got it.
Jimenez. And he's got it. Down the field. Now can he win the foot race? No, he's brought down by Myers, but Jimenez got wide open. And the give to Hess. Trying to get to the outside. He's got the first. He's got more. Tanner Hess down the sideline. Can he win the foot race? Yes, he can. Touchdown, Hempfield. And Hempfield punching into the end zone. Hess. Walk in. On course a rainbow for Shan. Who caught it? Touchdown, Jackson Shan. Oh, my. Oh, really high snap from the long snapper, Ian Herr, and now it's blocked! Devin Shorter got there, and that's a disaster for LS. Here's Nope with pressure, lost ball! Devin Shorter on the strip sack, and he's got it!
They're too afraid to make a mistake that they're not making the right play here.
That one's blocked! It's a tie game still, as I believe it was Nicodemus who came across Shorter, I think. Again, it's Almodovar and Jimenez. As always, back deep to return. Here we go. Jimenez takes it at the 10. And now bringing it out, Jimenez with a hole in the middle. Jaden Jimenez with the kicker to beat. Can he get there? He's gonna get there. Touchdown, Jaden Jimenez. Goes all the way. Unbelievable. Looking, try to get some of it back here to her. He'll get brought down. He laterals it back to Goldsmith. Hook and ladder play. But will it work? This will be the last play of the game as they hook and lateral. And it's picked up by Almodovar. And the Black Knights have won it. Tonight, the Hempfield Black Knights boys soccer team are ready to take on the Warwick Warriors here on HSD TV 7. Now he's trying to work the corner. Get it away now over the middle of the head shot. Can they get it in? Yes, they can! And I believe it was Huey Pohl who had the goal there. Well, here in the 63rd minute of this 80-minute match. Right up to the top, and is that in? I think that's in.
Oh my goodness.
It's a smart bet now. Game, set, match. Black Knights have pulled an upset out of the hat. Play action, fire to Holstetter. And Holstetter keeps his footing. Can he stay on his feet or race to the end zone? And he's in. Touchdown. But they give it on an end around and a trick play. We saw this last year and it happens again. Benjamin wide open down the field. And he is going to try and win the foot race. And he will get there. Tony Reed threw it on a double pass. A perfect season comes to an end. The Hempfield Black Knights girls soccer team is ready to take on the Wilson Bulldogs in a heavyweight district playoff match.
Maybe that's something up his sleeve for this corner.
Possibly. And able to get it in. I believe that was Weinholt. 1-1. 80 minutes, not enough to settle it.
Look for Burton to perhaps target Gabby Hollinger on this one. Hollinger has
Right
been
there.
the one taking many of these corner kicks for the Knights.
Weinholt trying to head in, and they win it! We are ready to go to start state playoffs, the PIAA state playoffs between the Hempfield Black Knights and the Unionville Indians. The Hempfield Black Knights coming off a District 3 championship when it comes to power. Let's see. Getting it across the middle. Trying to get it in! And not able to save it, and there goes the goal!
Goalie couldn't keep their hands on it.
I think that was Hollinger down there. Again, crowd knows. Barring a miracle maybe that Hempfield is on their way to the quarterfinals. Race for it. Down the field. Seconds Wayne. Who hits it out?
And that's
Game
the game.
over. It is time for the LL League final for girls volleyball between the undefeated Hempfield Black Knights and the E-Town Bears. Sipling setting up Bittner. Going for Chris again. Not too much power, but gets just enough arc on it to put it over. Going way to the back and almost out of play before Stewart could save it. And Sipling able to put it over. And she's getting pumped up. Nice serve, Kowalski cutting in front of it. And over at that time. Now takes a swing at it. Flood set up for the kill. I mean, how do you stop that, Colson? You can't. Lugo, Kowalski. And Lugo again off of Ashley Smith and into the court. Bittner lets it go. 4-8. If Hempfield gets the point, they're the LL League champions. And everybody's on the edge of their seat. Flood, perfectly placed serve. Hill over the top. Cummings. Sipling for the kill. Got it! Rachel Sipling ends it, and the Hempfield Black Knights are the LL League champions. Welcome into the Dallastown High School, the gymnasium, where today the District 3 champion for girls volleyball will be crowned. Flood. To Bittner. So Ulrich for the kill. Cummings. Bittner. And Sipling right in the net. To Brink. Nice job by Lugo, right in the net to the 9. Matea Shaw. For Whiskey. What a block by Lugo.
Exhausted.
Hempfield can still win it right here, and they will.
We are going to a fifth set.
This long rally continues. Blocked again. Sipling and Ulrich. How about that block? Flood. Just gets it over for the 8th. Down by 5. They have to bring it back to at least 13. Sipling. ready to take on the Black Knights in some boys basketball action right before the holiday break. These seniors for Hempfield, as Hessinger takes a shot, and he connects from three. As Alston out to Bennett, he takes a shot and gets it. Trying to get the ball away from Scherzer, who fires from three and doesn't get it.
Oh, we got a fast break here.
Wide open is Sears, a layup. Give it to him. Get down the court and then not able to corral the pass. And a riding ball. Again, there's in the green.
A thunderous block there.
That is unreal.
Off the backboard.
Under a minute and a 3-point game. Here's Wilkinson driving, trying to power. Gets to Sears though. And Sears able to connect. Bennett, Kasey. Wilkinson. Looking. Clock running down. Hessinger for the win. Off the rim. Hill gets the rebound to win it.
That's it. That's the buzzer. That's time.
Ryan Hill wins it for Hempfield off the rebound.
You've been here for volleyball. You've been here for basketball. Now it is time for wrestling.
We are here for some Hempfield bowling action against Elizabethtown.
We're staying neutral right now. Joel looks to elbow pass, good. Right to the pitch back. That's exactly what we needed. He's getting back points right now. Near fall points are being awarded. That's in addition to 2 takedown points there. And Dion could be looking at a pin here soon. He can stay in bounds. There we go. A dominant win for Hempfield Wrestling.
Keller got the split. Keller psyched up for that. 5-2 final score. Hempfield wins on senior night. And Mannion from three. Got it. Oh, boy. Oh, here's three. Got it. Miguel Pena, welcome to varsity. He's been in since the first quarter. Here's another three. He got it. He might be playing for it. Got it. Pena's got another.
Look at that.
That's looking on the face. Bellinger for three.
That's it. Let's go. We are ready to go for some girls basketball action tonight. And Ben, this girls team has not found a lot of success the past couple of years, but this season they've started out well.
She has been incredible. Speaking of incredible, Lindsay Durkota.
There is your honorable mention all-star from last year, and Lindsay Durkota's got her mind on bigger things this season as a senior. Little discombobulated, that goes through the hands. Moffitt trying to get the rebound, does it? Weinhold. Game, set, match. Hempfield survives. Taking a look. Cook. Open look.
Deep
from
one.
Three.
Got it.
Downtown. Bang.
Wow. And there it is. There's the game. And Hempfield wins it.
Off the guard in Landisville. They have a 2-game edge over third place Township. That's assuming they win. Dakota. Passes through. Dakota. Across court. Here we go. Doesn't go. Hempfield's done it. And they beat the Blue Streaks in an epic rivalry game. It's very simple. Black Knights beat the Blue Streaks tonight, and they bring home their first Section 1 title back to Landisville in 15 years. We'll take another shot from three. That time it won't go. Cook will win the race to the sideline and get the rebound. And now Dakota will take it up. With Riggs. One-on-one, inside, trying to get to Moffitt. It's an axe, look what she found! And just as physical as the first match. As here's Quinn, trying to go all the way down. What a shot from Cook to cut that off! Gotta be smart in this situation. Speaking of fast break though, it's Cook up the middle and with the end one for the potential lead. As Autumn Cook gets two. Got it! And Hempfield is in the lead. 11-10, Quinn. Looking, shooting, off the mark, and the save by Ford. Push on, this could be the game. Push on, won't get it. Cook, game is over, and the Hempfield Black Knights are going to win their first Section 1 championship in 15 years. Now Now with a 2-point lead, and Axe will shoot right away. And a perfect three from Connor Axe for the E-Town game that we did on Thursday as Axe takes another deep three, and he got it again. Hessinger open. Axe, he'll try again. For the third time tonight, Connor Axe. He's gonna try again. He's gonna get it again. Oh man! He can make some people miss. Axe will try it again, and he will get it again. Finds Axe. He'll try again. He will get it again. Trying to keep it in though. Axe hangs onto it, and he sinks another three. Out to Axe. He will let it fly again, and he's got it again. Number 8 on the night for Connor Axe. That's a new season high for him. Dakota comes beautiful play. Wow. Yeah, that was pretty right there. Dakota came racing in while everyone was stopped still, and Axe just shoved it to her, and she put it to the bucket, and then took a charge. And Dakota, why not add a steal on it? Now can she get to the bucket? Yes, she can. Lindsay Dakota popping off on senior night.
Lindsay Dakota has been money all year, not just from the free throw line, all over the place.
No good. And Weidel gets back on it. Jumper doesn't go. But she got it back. Weidel, Dakota is good. Off the rim. Weidel wasted for the rebound. And Hempfield is going to win it.
What a game. Oh my God.
Dakota loses control.
There.
Yeah. And McGarry, holy moly, McGarry, get that on the baseline. Looking, rings from three, got it, at the bucket. Now Cook from three, got it.
Beautiful. It is beautiful, ladies and gentlemen.
And that will do it. And the Hempfield Black Knights are heading to the PIAA state playoffs